Right, let's head now to the United States where something extraordinary has just happened. Shocking is the word the Washington Post is using. Democrat Doug Jones has won a special election to take the Senate seat of Alabama from the Republicans for the first time in a quarter of a century. US President Donald Trump had vocally and repeatedly backed Roy Moore, a candidate who'd faced multiple allegations of sexual assault. This is a domino falling. Next in line, well, possibly Donald Trump's efforts to pass tax reform in Washington. The Republican majority in Senate is now 51 to 49, and all of those 51 votes cannot always be relied upon. But this is also a broader blow to Donald Trump and a reputation based upon his ability to sway conservative voters with the sheer force of his personality. Alabama is Republican. Trump backed the Republican. The Democrats won. Doug Jones spoke to his ecstatic supporters just a few minutes ago.
I gotta tell you, I think that I have been waiting all my life and now I just don't know what the hell to say. I am truly overwhelmed. I am truly overwhelmed. But you know, folks, and you have all heard me say this at one point or another in this campaign, I have always believed that the people of Alabama had more in common than to divide us. We have shown not just around the state of Alabama, but we have shown the country the way that we can be unified.
Doug Jones, let's go now live to our US correspondent, Kevin McAleese. Kevin, holy moly.
Yeah, it was a thrilling watch, wasn't it? I mean, a stunning turn of events in this special election race. Democrat Doug Jones, grinning like a Cheshire cat, got the cream, wins in a deep red state. We can't stress that enough. Coming from behind, first time in 25 years, a Democrat will be elected senator for Alabama. And on top of that, wow, huge blow for the President of the United States, Donald Trump. He went all in behind this controversial Republican candidate in Moore. He made those pre-recorded messages, those robocalls, as they're known. But on the day, it wasn't enough. As you said, the force of Donald Trump's popularity wasn't enough to push Moore over the line. And remember, Donald Trump won this state comfortably, some 20 points back in 2016, the presidential race then. So he has taken to Twitter. He's already congratulated Doug Jones. I'll quote him, on a hard-fought victory. The write-in votes played a very big factor, he adds, but a win is a win. So I guess a half congratulations.
Yeah. This is absolutely fascinating because if we look back on that US election, Trump won it by galvanizing the white vote, right, in the swing states, in the Rust Belt states, in the states where there was a sense of disconnection from Washington. And as you say, Alabama is pretty much reliably Republican and has been for a quarter of a century. So what does this tell us? Was this a rejection of Moore as a candidate, or is this a waning of Trump's potency?
Well, the post-mortem is going to pick over exactly those questions in the coming weeks and months. But the big picture, you know, Moore was an incredibly divisive figure, clearly now we know, in Alabama, but also among Republicans. You know, you had some Republicans saying, look, if he gets into Congress, then I'm going to support him. You had others saying, well, I'm going to make it my mission to have him expelled before his feet even touch the ground here. That's because Roy Moore had been accused by multiple women of pursuing them and of inappropriate sexual misconduct with them, dating back to when he was in his 30s and they were in their teens, the youngest 14 years old. And that was clearly too much to stomach for some voters in Alabama. The big picture here then, you know, there are standards and there are limits of what voters will tolerate from their elected officials. And, you know, these accusations were simply too much, even for the overwhelming Christian right evangelical population in this deep red state who support Roy Moore's brand of politics. There's no doubt about that. They are completely behind it, but they couldn't reconcile voting for a man who was dogged by such serious allegations. Allegations, I should add, he has always vehemently denied.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us, because it is an extraordinary result. And I think the figure, I'm just looking, have you seen these breakdown of votes by race? 96% of black voters, 96% of African American voters went Democrat. Hillary Clinton will be looking at that and weeping, and a huge turnout too. This was a highly galvanised electorate, and they made the difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, a huge turnout we're seeing from the African American population in Alabama. No doubt that they played a big role, and that's why we saw that swing, didn't we, where Moore came out strong from the blocks, and then Jones brought it back for that dramatic finish. But there was a big push for the African American community to come out, and that's why you heard Jones thanking them, thanking the Latino community, and just reminding everyone that this campaign was about dignity, as he put it, dignity and respect. It was about the rule of law, and it was about common decency, and it was those pillars that attracted people to Doug Jones, maybe even some Republicans to Doug Jones, and of course all of those write-ins who just couldn't bear to vote for him.
Kevin McAleese joining us live. Thank you so much, Kevin. Alabama, the Senate seat that was held by the Republicans for 25 years, has gone to the Democrats.